Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us for Sight Lap as we look ahead to Denver, Colorado, our next to last round on the Supercross stop. And things are heating up in the 250 class on the West Coast. 450 class starting to get a little more defined here. Oh, Jason, you got a snack.
Yeah, buddy, I'm just going to have to ask you to mute me while you go over the sponsors like we do at the beginning of the show so I could eat my words from the Philly show. Right here, I did say you won't see Jet out front. Clearly, you saw him out front. I'm going to take this. You guys hear about the sponsors. Nom, nom.
All right, well, my man has a pudding cup, snack pack. Let's thank our sponsors, Rock and Turf, Maxxis Tires, and Speedstrap.com. If you guys are in the market for artificial grass or mats, truck tires, mountain bike tires, or tie downs and toe straps, hit up our partners. Those guys have been awesome for us all year long. We appreciate it. I'm David Pingree, your host, joined by Bruce Murata and Jason Lawrence. And I was stoked you made it, Jason, because you had some girl on Instagram she said, "No, Jason Lawrence." He goes, "Oh, sorry guys, I'm not going to make it. I'm going on a date with this girl." Like,
hey, man, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. That's what I say. She had a check mark, dude. She might be above my level. Who knows?
She might be. She might have been like, "Yeah, no thanks." Anyway,
her husband might be above my level for all I know. If so, I apologize.
Yeah, careful. All right, so let's look ahead here. We got Empower Field in Denver, Colorado. Our Maxxis Tires weather report. We got 76 degrees and sunny. Although one of the reports I read, because I check a couple different places, says there's a chance of rain in the afternoon, like a thunder shower. I'm like, okay, I don't know how that's 76 and sunny, but whatever. The thing that I thought might be interesting on this one is it says 15-mile-an-hour winds. And I don't know if you guys remember back in the 90s, I want to say it was 96.
It was.
Dude, it was like a hurricane blowing through that stadium.
The mechanics had goggles on.
Yeah, I remember watching that race on YouTube. So
now that was probably
crazy.
Stronger winds than 50 miles an hour, but maybe it'll affect these guys. Obviously, there's a tunnel or some type of gap in that stadium that lets the wind come through. So something to think about it. I don't know if you guys have ever raced in a stadium where it gets windy, but it's weird. Like I've done a couple, and I can't remember which ones, but you'll hit the triple and you'd feel the wind. One of them was Salt Lake, the old Salt Lake spot. So
I did one actually. It was Vegas in 08 for the press day. It was, and it was like a strong headwind came all the way in the tunnel on the triple. It was bad.
Yeah, I remember being at Vegas one of the years. Just I can't remember if it was during the race or maybe it was press day, Jason, where it was like super windy. So
yeah, I bet you that was it. This day it was bad. Dudes couldn't even jump the triple. Honestly, it was a big triple to begin with, but on 250Fs with the headwind, it was like we're supposed to be doing press, and we only had this one triple, and we couldn't even jump the triple really, let alone do any kind of whip.
Not really lighting it up for the 5 o'clock news, were you?
Yeah, not at all.
All right, so let's jump into the Speed Straps 250 preview. What stands out for you guys? Well, I guess we should mention too the soil type. That's kind of another thing we like to touch on. It's harder than woodpecker lips in that stadium. Solid, hard, clayish dirt. Usually gets kind of dry, slick. So a little bit different. We haven't seen anything like this since maybe Phoenix. That's a little bit that way. But really, this will be kind of a departure if we don't have any rain or anything weird happen. This will be a departure from everything we've seen all year long, which has been pretty soft and rutted and, a little bit spongy. It's going to be rock hard like the test tracks.
Yeah, it'll be rock hard for sure. And that'll be something, dude. If it does give us a little rain, I was even thinking like, hey, it might be something to look out for. If I'm not sure if we're doing the reverse schedule with the 450 heats going first, but this is the kind of track that it's going to be so hard packed that, yeah, they'll groom it up. But if they put any water on it, which they'll have to, that first couple laps of that first race will be something. Dudes will be sliding, slipping around. Even like I think it was last year when they were here, like there was a lot of crashes of dudes just dumping it, just sliding out.
That opening lap of the first heat, they put water down, then taken the skiddies and kind of slicked it, right, to make it look all nice. But it looks like it's good traction and bitchin' dirt. And then as soon as you hit it, like no traction, super slippery. Wouldn't surprise me if we see some crashes in that first heat. So keep an eye on that. 250 class. here's what we got. Like, let's set this stage. Levi Kitchen and RJ Hampshire, really. I think it's down to these two guys. Does anybody have a mathematical chance in the points other than those two?
I mean, Jordan Smith's 18. Jason, what do you think, dude?
I don't know. I mean, Peyton Manning, he might be around here, but the Hail Mary is not happening like this in this stadium right now. That's too big of a shot. I think they're out, bud.
I mean, something could happen, and he could let himself back in that final one in Salt Lake. But I think for the most part,
let me ask you this: how many points down is Hayden Deacon on the other coast?
He is
15?
down. Hold on, let me check right here.
Because I'm just saying, I'm going to come on next week and I'm going to say Hayden still got a chance at this one. So I don't know. I might be out of my line right here. If I'm going to say
15.
Another 18. If Hayden was 18, that's the difference, though, of the mentality kind of Hayden. Like, you don't want to really say he's out of it.
But Jason, like Ping and I were saying too, like 15 points down when it comes to a shootout, it's kind of like 7 points down, you know?
Yeah, for real.
So I mean, I don't know. Is Jordan out of it?
well, I mean, mathematically he's still in, but I would say this chase is coming down to Levi Kitchen and RJ Hampshire. And if you're looking at momentum right now, what we've got to look at is clearly going in RJ Hampshire's favor, which I know gives you the biggest erection, Bruce. I don't know how you're hiding under there.
Hey, I'm going to tell you guys right now, RJ will hear this too. The amount of messages he sent me this week. Look how good that red plate looks. Look how good that red plate looks. Like, so dude, I'm telling you right now, that guy, he's confident right now. So
well, he's got momentum. He crushed it in that last round. And Jason, you said something about he's kind of known as a sand guy being from Florida, but he has a test track down there that's rock hard, and he's comfortable in this stuff.
Yeah, for real. I mean, this track's going to be great for RJ, whether it's a day race or if it's a night race. But yeah, this ultra dry dirt, it's nothing like the Dade City sand that's probably in the Hampshire household sandbox when he was growing up. But it's not hard to find that Vegas-esque type dirt in Florida. Like Gatorback is a good example. And RJ did. He had a test track right out there outside of Croom, and I've been there, and it was hard as a rock, dude. It's just lime rock dirt. And I know both these guys, they split their time between California a little bit to test. Levi and RJ, they split their time there in Florida. But when they're in Florida, they're riding like great tracks. So I think they're on like these manicured titty tracks now, whether they're at Sandbox or at Baker's Factory. When they go out to California, they get a little time on the dry track, but I think it's going to benefit RJ that when he grew up, he spent a lot of time riding on this hard lime rock type dirt, and that's exactly what I think you'll see. So I think RJ will have the upper hand on the track conditions.
Yeah. Hey, have any of you guys heard anything about how Levi's doing?
Well, I talked to Mitch last week and asked him, about the situation with Cameron, and I said, "What about Levi? How's he doing?" And he goes, "He's good. He's fine. He's fine." Like he played it off like he's totally fine. Now Jason's shaking his head. All I can tell you is what he told me. But you brought up a good point, Jason, about his the chef's vlog that's been MIA ever since.
Yeah, but I do not know what the chef is cooking. But he better be on the horn with Tanya Harding's Goon Squads if he wants to take RJ out of this championship for real, because RJ is going to be in it. But what he needs to cook up a good start, dude. We see pure excellence out of Levi when he can get out front early, almost untouchable. But then when he wasn't out front right off the start in the heat race and the main event in Nashville, he's kind of like a fish out of water. Maybe it was bad luck. Maybe it was a lack of being in that, mixing it up, and I really don't know, but I think having this race at elevation, is that going to affect Levi? Like, will he be huffing and puffing harder, causing more pain in his ribs? I really don't know, but he needs to leave here with 4 points over RJ to have a chance at beating him in the final round the way I see it. And he's already down points. It's going to be hard to do even if you're 100% healthy, but I don't see RJ losing in Salt Lake City at the showdown, especially if he has to, especially given how he just whooped these dudes at a showdown. And when you put RJ in a one-on-one situation, he's a tough and fierce dude, so I'm not sure. But if you guys don't follow the chef's vlogs, I'll let you in on info. I do. And there's been no vlog since Nashville. You know, Levi's not the guy who's going to be bitter and going to go and buckle down because he had a bad race and not talk to fans. You know, like this man didn't put out a riding blog because he's not riding. That's what I think. He put out that post of, oh, I'm in the hospital, potential broken ribs, and probably everybody and their brother said, buddy, you should bite your tongue on that. Don't tell us that. You know, and then backpedal on it. I don't know, but we'll see. It's a shame, but I really don't think that Levi went to the hospital, made that post, and then, I mean, think about it. In your shoes, you wouldn't really want to make the post and say, oh, actually, I wasn't hurt. You know, you'd want to be like, yeah, you know, I had some broke ribs and still toughed it out. So I think he really has them, and he's playing his card right here. We'll hear it later.
Yeah.
Well, there's no BS in when the gate drops. Like, we'll find out if he's certain or not. And like I said, I think we'll get a pretty good indicator of where he's at in daytime qualifying. If he's off the mark by a decent margin, you know, it's affecting him. Whether that's, even if they're not hurting bad, if you haven't ridden for 2 weeks trying to let him heal, you're not going to go in there and feel awesome, you know, probably. So we're going to find out early.
Hey,
So
and
now,
it's not bad sportsmanship to do this, but man, you can go in there and you could bump somebody if you know they have broken ribs. You know, that's like the main thing. It's not giving RJ a mental edge. That's like saying, like, that's like a fighter, you know, it's like a UFC fighter saying, hey, bud, I have a hurt left shin coming into the fight. Like, yeah, right. You know, so for so many reasons, he needs to not do that. Plus, it's a bad time because I think Shimoda's coming hot right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
That looks good. He should be good on this dirt too, because he's always riding at the Cali test tracks. You know, like at the Cali test tracks, I should say. He rides a Cali one, a Honda one, whatever. But I think that all these riders, they get out of California because of the test track conditions. You know, and like by 2:00 Pacific Standard Time, there's two beloved things in our motocross community that are absolutely baked. It's Jason Anderson and It's Those Manufacturers test tracks out in California. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I'd way rather be spending my afternoons with Hombre than at the test tracks. But Joe Shimoda, on the other hand, he seems like he's just don't know no better, and he's grown to love this dude. He's out there spinning laps. He loves it. I think that's going to come into play with this dude, and especially he's coming hot off a podium. It's going to be good track conditions for him. No championship pressure, and he's trending in the right direction. Levi may be a little hurt, and I think Joe's about stepping up to he'll definitely be above or at the level of an unhealthy Levi and an RJ with the championship on his mind. So I think he'll be good.
Here's the one thing that I think will be a key factor, and that's that Levi Kitchen has never contended for a title before, right? We've had a lot of conversations about the pressure and how that will affect Jet, who's never won a Supercross title, but he's won 250 outdoor titles, 250 Supercross titles, SMX World Championship titles. So titles aren't really new to him. This is a different one, and I'm sure there's some pressure. For Levi Kitchen, this is the first one he's really been in the mix like this.
For Levi, too, he's pretty decorated as far as an amateur racer, right? He won a lot. I never saw this guy ride a dirt bike until his last year at Mini-O's, which he raced Loretta's the following year. But this was right when he was getting off of Rock River or whichever the amateur support team is. And then he got the star deal right after this. Now, this guy, he beat the expert A class so bad, so easily. No disrespect to the other guys. It was my first time at an amateur national in a long time. So I didn't have a good gauge on what the level is. I didn't know what the talent wave was coming through. This dude obliterated him. And what I took from it was talent pool is low. You know, I didn't really think that he was that exceptional. I realize he is. But what I'm saying is, he kind of got in a nice little lane where he just walked through the amateurs. Yeah, he was successful, but when you see a guy like Villapoto on paper, Kitchen was a way more successful amateur, but look at the lessons and the rider Villapoto came out of from getting his ass whooped against hard-ass competition the whole time. I think once you get up against a hard-nosed dude like RJ, and the first time being in the title, you know, he's got a lot up against him, and he maybe hasn't been in this situation before. You know, he just ran through guys left and right.
Bruce, what do you think? How many times has RJ been kind of in the hunt with a couple rounds to go like this?
You know, I mean, I don't want to say anything to kind of, jinx anything here, but the only thing is with RJ is like he's had so many great opportunities to, win championships. He's just unfortunately I don't know, the luck just hasn't been on his side. He's had to suffer with a lot of injuries. But I mean, I think where RJ's at in his career, he knows he's like, this is probably going to be the last year he's going to want to ride 250s. And so this is his chance. He's such a veteran now in that class that he's just like, dude, I have to win this thing. So I think where he's at right now, I'm very confident he's going to do this. So
I will say, RJ to me in the past was always plenty of speed, plenty of heart.
Yeah.
He's fit, but he would push too hard and grenade.
Yeah, and
right?
but it's like there was a lot of freak things that would happen though, like during the weeks, like just like stupid little crashes that were just kind of out of his control at times, and it's just one of those things. He just unfortunately had bad luck, and but hey, before I forget about this topic, what I'm really curious, I'm kind of jumping forward a little bit here, but hear me out on this. So say like Kitchen isn't hurt, okay, and he, we already know RJ is going to win this weekend, right? So let's say RJ wins, Kitchen gets second. I'd be curious to see what happens at Salt Lake with the PC team. Seth, are they going to play some tactics here?
This championship the last team that you're talking about, other PC guys going after RJ.
Yeah,
I don't think you'll really see that. I think Mitch's team's the last team you'd see that from, just because I think the way he's dealt with it, and what he's dealt with his drought, and surely he's going to get a championship back. Surely he don't want it on some shitty way like that. But you never know. I mean,
well, I can tell you when I rode for Mitch over those 3 years, there was 2 times where Rhino was in the mix for an outdoor title. And we had Pashon, like there was guys who were winning titles for him or in contention. And he never said, hey, get out of their way or block this guy or whatever. It was like, hey, just be mindful if they catch you and come up to you. Like,
well,
that was it. Be respectful of what they're doing.
My time racing, I only remember the problem that Mitch had was which rider was winning the title of his. So it was like, don't knock each other down and don't let J-Law razzle you guys. And good. Hey, but I want to touch back on RJ real quick. Like, RJ, dude, I know a couple years ago, he was getting like hammered on the outdoors for when he would fall down, and it was GL being the commentator, I believe, at this time. And it was RJ was crashing a lot, but he was riding his heart out, RJ, I mean, GL wasn't knocking him in any sense, but I just remember he was catching a rap of like dude, you're a crasher, you're riding over your head. And that kind of like accumulates and builds up, like just in the sense of any, negative thing about you. But I think RJ, he's great this year. He's looking like he's going to win the title. The past 2 Supercross seasons, he was second to Jet. Jet's phenomenal, dude. I don't even think RJ has just gone through this progression stage. I'm not even saying anything bad. I don't think he's any better this year than he was last year or the year before. He's up against stiffer competition.
But last year, remember the crash he had at Anaheim? Like he had these wild, like his hand would just come off and he would just beat her. This year, the only time I've seen kind of that old RJ was at San Diego, and he tried to make a legit pass. It wasn't crazy, and he just broke traction and then it hooked and spit him.
Yeah. Was that right before they came across the start?
Yeah. Across the start. There was like 2 turns from the finish. It was It was real close. But I wouldn't have called that a bad move. Like it was a good move. It just the dirt wouldn't hold him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
there's few of them that I would call that were bad moves of his. Maybe bad judgment call as far as he might be pushing a little too hard, a little too ambitious. But really, he doesn't make like bad, stupid calls, and you don't see him like endangering other dudes or doing nothing crazy like that, You see the man jump off at 55 feet high at WW Ranch, not hurt nobody but himself on the ground.
Well, let me tell you, there's been times that I've been with RJ where you talk about a rider riding in pain or hurt. Man, there's been so many times that have never been exposed to the media, like, oh, he's got a broken hand. He just kept super on the DL on it. And dude, that kid is one tough kid. Like,
Well, yeah, dude, don't you know that
unbelievable.
his sister used to beat him up when he was a kid? That's why he's so tough.
I'm sure
Yeah.
she did. But no, just that dude, just the stuff, the pain that I've seen that kid ride in it's like unbelievable.
All right,
So
we know, Bruce. We know.
Hopefully
So,
no more.
I think
right.
he's gonna win this week.
Give me your top threes, guys. Who's coming out of this weekend on the box?
Well, on the box is going to be, in a random order, is going to be Shimoda, Kitchen, and RJ. But RJ is going to be holding the gold. Shimoda will be in second. Kitchen will be in third, and that'll be a good ride for an 80% Levi or 100% Levi in this situation, honestly. If he's coming in there really hurt and banged up, I don't even expect him to be top 5. But then I'm putting Ryder D and Thrasher up in there. And that's just off the top of my head, too. Like, there's so many guys that you could plug in there in those situations and be top 5 guys. But I'll go RJ, Shimoda, Kitchen for the podium.
What do you got, Bruce?
Man, Kitchen with the win.
Ooh.
No, I'm just kidding. We're gonna do no, we're gonna do. I don't want to copy Jason, but I have to because
It's smart.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm going with what Jason said on that. Hey,
right.
you know who I could feel who could surprise us though too, mix it up a little bit is Juju.
Yeah, Bomer.
Yeah.
He's good on this hard stuff. I think he's due for a good ride. I don't know that he's going to win. I think that's a tall order. I could see him on the podium, but I'm going Shimoda, Kitchen, RJ. Because I want to see Joe pull it together. I want to see the points tighten up. I want to go to that final round with that would be a 2-point separation. So really, winner takes
Could
it.
we get the editor right now to please just throw in a clip of the 2023 Denver Supercross 250 class highlights, and then we'll let you come back.
Yeah. Hey,
am I going to be eating my words next week?
Yeah. Hey,
if you
hey,
want.
Ping. Who won Denver last year?
Anyway, let's move on to the 450 class. All right, let's move on to the 450 class. Rock and Turf 450 preview. We got there's some interesting stuff playing in here. Anderson had a freaking awesome ride last weekend, but now I'm curious, like, if he'll be a factor.
Bud, inside scoop, he's riding for his ride. Hey, I don't know who told you that. Cowie drama's getting hot though.
The Cowie drama is heating up. We already know Prado's dialed in over there, so
And
only
can't
got one
wait
slot.
for that Bobby Hewitt Triumph 450 to come out because that's where he's landing. Woo!
What about
that's
Ducati?
Next year's gossip. No,
yeah, Ducati.
No, he loves Bobby Hewitt and Triumph, bud.
He does. Yeah, he does. That's true. Okay, so Eli, you had some really good stats on Eli in his last five seasons here, right? Like his history with this venue.
Yeah, like how you're feeling if you're Eli Tomac and it's 2018. You know, like you got done, finally hung up the boots. Right now, you're collecting championships. Longtime Cortez, Colorado. That's where you're getting your AMA card sent to ever since you were on PWs. So he's like Colorado faithful. 2018, they announced, hey, in 2019, Eli, we're going to bring the Supercross Series to your hometown in Denver, Colorado. What do you think about that? He's like, whoa. They're like, yeah, bud, we're going to do it for like 4 or 5 years. I can't recall. You'd have to ask Genro, whoever signs these things. But whatever, he's hyped on that. He goes there the first time and he whoops their asses. Crowd's going crazy. He says it on the podium. This was my best moment. He was going to cry like out of joy. He wasn't winning a championship right here or anything. He just couldn't believe how big time the crowd was behind him. I watched it on TV. I can attest to it. I almost thought it was dubbed in. You know, during COVID when we had the weird crowd sounds. It was like, but there's no crowd. Whoa, this was crazy. They're thumping. So Eli gets that, and then COVID hits, right? Bud misses it in 2020, misses it in 2021. Oh, poor him. He's busy winning the championship in Salt Lake, so we ain't feeling bad for him. But still, he misses that. In 2022, he comes back to Denver. He's the man. He's winning the championship. He's on this renaissance year. He has to let Chase by because he's using his head. He wants to win the championship. doesn't win the race, he's happy up there. 2023, he's not going to do that same thing. He's going to win the championship, and he wants another one of those moments, his moment in the sun with the crowd thumping Eli the whole race. So he's throwing caution to the wind. Screw the title. I'm winning this race. We know what happened. He got hurt with his Achilles. Now it's 2024, and he's back. How bad does this guy want this win? He's saying, screw you, Bobby Reagan. I don't care what place Eli is in. I don't care about Jet. I don't care about the extension or whatever. I think he's coming for the W. You're going to see the best Eli that you've probably seen all year, maybe even better. And if Eli doesn't win this race, I'll be shocked. I won't be shocked if Eli pulls a hat trick and he qualifies fastest, wins the heat, and wins the main. Eli played for Coop in Philly. He don't want to do that again. Sadly, he doesn't have a choice, but that's how it is. The only way to avoid the team orders is to get out front of Coop from the start and win the race. You won't see Eli finish between Jet and Cooper, just period. So he needs to be clear of both Jet and Cooper on the start and ride his own race, or he needs to have the speed to run down and get by Jet, which he did not show in the main event at Philly. He has the speed, and I think he brings it to Denver. It's going to be his highest level.
I think that's super.
Wow.
Yeah, that's good analysis, man. Like really
Wow.
good.
Wow.
I want to say this
Dang.
though, and I don't want to sound like the broadcast team because they're going to be banging that elevation drum like a coked up monkey on a snare drum. They're probably going to mention it 45 times, but it is something to think about when you're talking about Jason Anderson. He does not do well at elevation. He vapor locks, dude. It's pretty much every time he goes there, right?
Yeah. Well, it's weird because he was able to pull it together and win his title there, wasn't he? Maybe he didn't win his title there in 18, but he had to change his front wheel, and he sure put in a hell of a performance.
Well, it's not been anything at elevation has not been great for him. So I wonder about how that will affect him. And this is a guy who was ripping last weekend on the podium. And then you got Chase Sexton, who I feel like is coming on stronger than anybody right now. He was moving to the front last week. And if he didn't trip up in that last couple of laps with lappers, I think he'd have put some pressure on Jet. I really do. So I think he wants to close this season out with a legit win. Not to call his win earlier not legit, but in the mud. I think he'd like to go out and go, hey, I got this figured out. Wait till 25.
I think you're going to have a hard time convincing me that he has a legit win, even if he wins both these next two races. He won't even tell you it was legit, I believe, just because these guys are in the title fight. You're not getting a 100% against them. Like, let's say in Philly, if Chase did get up there earlier and he got on Jet, dude, if he was putting any pressure on him, Jet, I hope, was smart enough to let him go in that situation. Or maybe he really thought it was worth it to ride those 3 points. But if he got around, he would have a hard time believing that was everything that Jet had. You know what I mean? And I don't know. He could prove me wrong, but I just think even if he goes out and smashes these guys, there's going to be a little something in the back of his head. And I believe it too, because
that could be right. But when you've had a season he's had, which has not been great, right?
Yeah.
One thing that would make it much better is to close it out with a couple of wins. One win, even one. And he rode great. I think last weekend was the best I've seen him ride all year. So something to consider.
You're definitely right. I would say there's more of an asterisk next to a mud race win than there is next to a beating the championship contenders win. So yeah, let's go for it, Chase.
Okay. So the question is, I think in my head is that's my podium. I got Eli, Jet, and Sexton. I could have the order between Jet and Sexton mixed up because really, if you're Jet, to your point, if Sexton's up your ass, let him go. You get a third as long as you're still in front of Coop. It's all gravy, right? That's my opinion. I think Eli brings it. I think Jet or Sexton finish second or third, depending on just start and how their night goes.
Sure. Well, let me marinate up next week's meal for me right here. And I'm going to say Jet is not going to be in front of Coop this week. Ain't happening.
Yeah. I'm still
you guys
that.
I mean, your name is driver of the Webb wagon, so like you gotta go.
Hey, Webb has this like weird thing of just finding traction in the craziest places, and if this track's going to be that hard pack, I feel like he's going to be able to beat Jet at this round. I do.
Well, did you guys notice that? Okay, in the start for the main event last week, I know, and I apologize, guys, this is out of context a little bit. I missed a show, Bozo, but in that first turn last week, that could have went so much different than it went with Jet just hardly missed Eli's back tire in that first turn. He would have fallen down on the ground. That would have been incredible, like incredibly different is what I mean. And if you saw Hunter, Hunter is playing for Jet. We knew this was going to happen, but he's really doing it. And Cooper knows it. And you saw on that start, they had their own battle going on the left-hand side of Hunter trying to squeeze off Cooper. And you could see that Cooper just wouldn't let off, and it drove him deeper into the turn than he would have wanted to go. But that was what he had to do to get the edge on Hunter. He drove deep into the turn. Had he not, he was in a good spot to take that inside if he didn't have to worry about Hunter. So good job to Hunter as far as backing your brother up. You know, that's the type of crap that you need to do, whether you're a teammate or a brother. Coop needs a little bit more of that, maybe, I think, but.
Yeah,
Well-
but that's where I feel like this weekend's going to be very important, and I obviously Webb knows that, to where it's just he knows Tomac's going to be there. Webb has to finish in front of Tomac this weekend, has to, and Tomac has to finish in front of Jet.
I don't know, boys. I listen.
Dude, I wouldn't put
I know
it out there. I wouldn't put it out of the realm for Justin Cooper to be up there and have a potential say at that. If Jet has any mistake and falters a little bit, one of the guys that he may not be able to come back and pass will be Justin Cooper if he puts in a pretty good ride. Justin Cooper's looking pretty good lately.
He's
Yeah,
been good
he
all
is.
season.
Yeah,
I just think you guys are. I think you're hanging on. I know you never count out Cooper Webb. He's proven me wrong a lot of times, along with everybody else. But
Well,
he's had
look at-
three rounds now or 2 rounds to get it done, and sort of reaffirm that win that he had. And it's just he just can't do it.
so
I think
year-
I've seen a defeated Cooper Webb the last 2 weeks, and I think he kind of knows the writing's on the wall.
Well, last year at this race, Jet was on the brink of winning his championship, right? It was championship pressure a little bit. He ends up clinching it at this race. He did
I think
less.
so.
He was less than impressive. Yeah, I know. So I did a little research. So he's less than impressive. He went down right off the start in the heat race. He was like unraveling. He came from the back in the main event. RJ and Levi, who he beat almost
Yeah.
every time, they looked better than him, and he was never even close to him. It's not out of the question for that type of Jet Lawrence to show up here now again, that it's championship pressure.
do you
And
remember
it's
how?
of course, what?
Do you remember how he crashed there? I'm just
Yeah,
curious.
right off the start, it was like he got like jammed up. He didn't get a good start and then ran into somebody and like had a small crash off the beginning. But still, he was way back in the heat race, started his whole night off like crap. He was never even in contention. Now that happens to him again. He's going to get beat by Hombre. He may get beat by Justin Cooper. He's going to get beat by Eli. He's going to get beat by Chase. He may get beat by Benny Bloss on a good night. You know, like some dudes, you know, who knows? If he makes a mistake, if they put this rain down or if they get some rain down, the track's going to be an ice skating rink. And
Yeah, it's gonna be
dudes
slippery.
going down 3-4 times and it'll be the norm. You know, so there's a lot can happen.
All right.
Webb, we're talking about Cooper Webb. Good at finding traction. He might find some off the side of an Aussie Honda.
All right. So anything else you want to
Uh,
touch on here before we go to picks?
The picks for the 450.
Yeah, let's hear it. I told you where I'm
Um,
at. I think Eli, Jet, Sexton.
Well, I think Eli, Webb, Sexton, Hombre, Jet. Just because I think Jet's gonna get Justin Cooper at the end, and he'll probably make that top 5, and it'll be a good ride from back of the pack or something. And you guys, you know, you say I hate on Jet. I don't hate on Jet. I just want a great championship, and that's not going to happen if Jet goes out there
Yes.
and displays it. You know what I mean?
That's
For
how
real,
I
it's
am
like-
too.
I love Coop, but I'm not even picking Coop to win these races. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to get the best title fight here. I thought we had a 3-way battle. I thought Chase was going to make it happen for us. He didn't. His mechanic didn't. We don't know. One of them's not getting paid anymore. I think Chase is still on the payroll. but I don't know, buddy.
Yeah,
We'll
what do
just have to
you got any thoughts on that? Like, I feel like why would you fire a guy if a rock hit your throttle housing and broke it? Like, nothing he can do about that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. There is definitely some gray area here.
There is some unknown information floating around.
I saw one person speculating, and they said that they read Chase's lips when he just crashed and got up, and he said, "You're fired."
He had a full face helmet on. Now you're reading his lips.
Yeah, I don't know. This stuff gets twisted out of control. I have no idea, but I'll tell you what. I talked to Chase a little bit since I've been doing these things, trying to get the lowdown on these riders, and I kind of tell these dudes like, hey, you know, if you don't tell me like, hey, J-Law, my throttle housing didn't really break, but don't tell no one that. If there's something you don't want me to say, don't let me know about it. You know what I mean? But if you want to, you know, like, tell me anything, defend yourself, I'm your guy. I gave him the opportunity on that, and he just didn't really want to get into too much detail about it. So he just said he's hammering down and he's moving forward. He's healthy, and yeah, he'll be in it for the outdoors and trying to win the next couple of races.
Well, it's all speculation, but my opinion is something was either loose or broke, or it was a mechanical error, right? I don't think this was a rock, because a rock, that's just a scapegoat of way to say it wasn't the bike, just fluke of nature, right? Act of God happened and bummer.
Yeah.
I don't think you're that mad. And there was a video clip of him coming across that double, and he wasn't wide open. If the throttle stuck, it'd be wah. It was quiet until he landed, right? So shenanigans. Shenanigans. All right, Bruce, who you got? Give me your top three.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go complete opposite, and maybe my luck will happen with Webb winning. Jet's going to smoke them all.
You might just be right, though.
Jet's going to win them all, but Webb's really going to win. Jet's going to win. It's going to go Jet.
Jet gets top three, first, second, and third.
Yeah. Realistically, I got to keep it in there, dude. I want to see Webb, Tomac, Anderson, and Jet.
All right.
Just to clarify, that what's the point spread between these top two? 8?
Okay, so 12.
12
12?
points. So even if he got a fourth, that's only an 8-point swing.
Okay, no. Okay,
then we get close.
I have it set up right.
Or 7 points.
Here's why I put my results like I did. I put Eli, Webb, Sexton, Hombre, Jet. I think Eli's winning. He's winning. He doesn't care. He'll probably rather win this race and get clipped by Star Racing than he would not win this race and think that he could have, which he very well can. So look, that spread though, what that's going to do is that's going to be 6-point gap from Coop. See what I'm doing here?
Yeah.
That's why I put my results like this. I thought we were going to have a 06 championship breakdown like at Vegas when those dudes went in there with 1 point apart, 3 of them, and like the winner takes all. Chase let me down a little bit, but shit happens. And I'm saying, dude, we're going into the last round with a chance for Coop. You know, like a real chance I'm talking about. Not a kamikaze, you took him out. You know, you had 4 teammates beat him and this and that. I mean, I think Coop, being the champion that he is, he's looking at this spread, which when I was preparing my little notes here, I thought was 8, so forgive me. So he's looking at it at 12, and he is thinking, I got to get 6 off right here and then cut it in half. You know, he has 2 races. He's going to cut it in half. He's going to really put the pressure on. But he needs to take more than 3 points out of Jet at this race.
Yeah, it's got to be a minimum. I mean, even 5 points doesn't really help. It's got to be a chunk. It's a long shot. All right, but I like your guys' faith, man. You're riding this Webb wagon right off the cliff.
We're just trying to keep it exciting.
All right. Well, I want to thank our sponsors one more time, Rock and Turf. Awesome artificial turf and mats. If you guys want something cool for the outside your trailer, your motorhome, or just something to change on in the back of your truck, at Rock and Turf on Instagram. Maxxis.com, mountain bike tires, truck tires, hit them up. They've got some sweet stuff ready to roll. And speedstrap.com. get yourself some tie downs and a toe strap in case your broke ass breaks down way out in the middle of nowhere. You can get home. Good stuff. We appreciate their support. J-Law, thanks as always, man. You're bringing good stuff. I dig it.
Hey,
Oh,
but
yeah.
I got one more thing, actually. I want to ask you guys a question. I got my lovely Instagram followers here who love the Whiskey Throttle Show. They posed us a couple questions. I got one for you, Bruce. This dude
Yep.
right here, JBRC Garage, says, I see Chase seeming to be getting quicker, and with Eli more time to get back to 100%. Did they stop Jet's outdoor streak? What's your answer?
I don't know. I mean, it could.
Hell yeah, they do. I'm not answering the question for you.
No, he's not going undefeated again.
Yeah,
way.
No.
Are they
No.
going to beat him for the title?
Ooh, well, I took this as his outdoor undefeated streak.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think this guy's working with a full pack of tools. I don't think he's that crazy.
Yeah. I don't think Jet's gonna go undefeated this year. No way. I think like Pinger was saying too, like you're seeing the speed come out of Sexton. I think he's really learning and figuring out this bike. And I know that camp over there, he's been looking really good in outdoors and getting comfortable on this thing for outdoors. So I think he's going to have some competition. And I think Justin Cooper, you're going to see something out of him for outdoors.
I'm excited to see him. You're right. That dude rips outdoors anyway.
Good point.
Yep.
Yeah. Another note too is these dudes for Sexton and RJ, this track real hard packed. I don't know from personal experience, but I hear that the steel frame bikes are a little superior.
They flex, they
really hard,
traction. Yeah.
So that's something for their heads. But all right, Ping, we got a question for you. This dude is Bobby Rod 187. And I actually want to know the answer to this question too. That's why I set this one up for you, Ping. And he says, when the riders talk about their bike setups and refer to the bike as stink bugged, what does that mean? And how does it relate to a stink bug?
Because stink bugs put their butt in the air. So it's when your back end is taller than your front. Typically, that's going to be either your sag is off and too high, fork is too soft. Maybe you've got the forks too high in the clamp. I mean, those are all fixes and ways to alter that. But yeah, I'm constantly going on about chassis balance, and that is what that refers to. So if you're stink bug, you're like this, because the stink bug will put its butt in the air and spray whatever that stinky crap is on you.
All right.
Also known as the funny car. If you ever rode a 2009 CRF 450, you know they called it the funny car because it was like super high in the back. Piece of junk.
All right, we got one more question. It is from Cameron Nelson. I'm going to ask myself this, and it says, which of today's riders would have a championship party comparable to your 08 party? And none of them, dude. We are not in that age anymore. Plus, I'll be modest right here. We cheated it because we had like 3 months knowing I was going to win the championship to set this party up. We were sponsored by the Palms. We had the Hefner suite, and we had Monster's budget. So just imagine what happened in that place. It's not going to happen again.
What do you mean you had 3 months? You guys did it like at the end of nationals or something?
No, what I mean is the way that the series was scheduled. I had a huge break in the West Coast, then one round to clinch my title. So unless I really donkeyed out, I was winning the title, and I knew it from Houston, which was like months ahead of when the Vegas Supercross and my championship party was.
All right, so give us a little taste.
Ballsy to go for it, bud. But I'm saying, like, we printed the shirts and everything. Like, I took my own championship shirts to the Seattle Supercross on the plane. Like most people would be like, don't even show me that you made the championship shirts. And like, we luggaged them there ourselves, dude. Like, we were confident, but we made it. And I won that thing by 1 point. But what do you want to know?
I want to know about the party. I didn't get to go.
You didn't go?
I was there. That was the one that had the spas outside there, right?
Yes,
yeah.
Bud. Yes. The Playboy suite.
Yeah, it was insane.
$30,000 a night. Hey, bud, check this. I'm the highest paid public speaker in Supercross in the 2008 season because at 08 in Vegas, dude, I said the Maloofs, they hooked me up with this $30,000 a night room for a couple nights. And all I had to say was, hey, I'm partying at the Palms after this. And I had a Palm sticker on my helmet. And that was all I said, man. I wish I could have done more for them. But
Jeez.
they gave us one of those. Monster rented another one that was the floor
Yeah.
above it. It had
That's
like
it,
a
yeah.
300 person limit. It was
Is this
crazy.
the one that had the pool that like
Yeah,
went
and
out
then
over
we-
the edge?
Dude, there was girls, everyone jumping in this pool. It was insane.
Hey,
And
I'm
I
pretty
always
sure Ryan Dungey lost his virginity at that party. Oh,
hey,
dude,
but there's no way there's after parties like that nowadays, right?
hell no.
You just can't. Cell phones,
Hell
you
no.
just couldn't.
Yeah.
We were all there too. Everyone was there. That's why I find it hard to believe that you weren't even there, Ping, because you might have been, dude. It was like Red Dog was there. It was also the Monster after party was the floor above.
Yeah, that's where I
we
was
had-
at.
yeah.
Above. Yeah.
So imagine that. We had like the Monster after party was going crazy upstairs and full at capacity. And then we had a duplicate of the room right below it to just pull whoever we wanted to there for the whole weekend. So it was pretty like you got to go to the coolest spot and pick your people and let them come over to there. It was a pretty like playing God experience. You know what I mean? If you're trying to get lucky at night or something with a lady at work. I missed the banquet though. I'd rather hang out in that damn hotel.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Hefter Suite or the banquet. Come on. You can get crab cakes and prime ribs some other time.
We'll stream the banquet.
There you go. All right. Well, listen, maybe we can get Monster to buck up and do a ripping after party this year. This SMX series ends in Vegas. I'm just saying.
Oh, dude, it's not hard. You got to get some big dogs on board like the Maloofs.
All right. Challenge
They're
accepted.
killer.
All right, buddy. Well, thank you for the insight as always. It's been awesome having you. at
Yeah,
all
you're
these.
awesome, Jason.
We got one more to go. We'll see what happens. Everybody have a great weekend. Bruce, thank you. Thanks to our
Yep.
partners. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next week for Riders Meeting. Peace. If you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos, comment what you thought, and share it with your friends.